everyone, it's Linda from LyndaCreates, and if you saw my last video, I was working on this project during a camping trip. I had put it on the stretcher bars a little early, and then once I was out at the campground, realized that the background fabric was too soft to stretch nicely, and so it was very wobbly. So I decided to do a fix for that today and share that with you, how I'm going to turn it into something much better. So let me go ahead, and I have some fabric cut out. I have my tools ready, and I am going to change this out and do a little extra with it. So the first thing I need to do is take this off of the stretcher bars, and I put down a surface to protect my desk. Now, in my last video, I showed how I attach this, and I'm just going to remove these staples. Trying not to tear the fabric if I can help it. I wanted to do this while we were camping, but I didn't bring all these tools with me. Okay, so now I can take that off. And what I'm going to do is I want to keep this fabric, and this fabric of course, but I don't need the background fabric as much. So I did a running stitch to hold it in place. I have a couple choices here, but I'm going to cut it off. Well, let's see, where did I? So I removed all the running stitches that I did around the edge of this. So now what I can do is, to get rid of this thin cloth, I can just lift that up and cut it away. Now I can cut it as close as I want to where I've stitched, which I think I will do. I don't need any extra thickness on the sides. And this is really just to show, if you change your mind on something, with fabric it's quite easy to fix things. So really what I just am trying to do is just cut it behind so it won't show, without cutting anything else. So now I have this fabric, which I will stitch down better. That's how you get this back off the backing. Now I'm going to go back to working on this. I have something that's a little bit tighter weave, because I did not want to do the same mistake twice and have something that was too flimsy for it. So I'm going to go this way. And I also wanted it to be a more of an oatmeal color to stand out from the fabric in the background. So what I'm basically doing is going the exact opposite, stretching it. And just going to work my way across. And this is a little loud and noisy, so I'll just do a couple more staples. And then I'll come back when I have it done. So I'm pausing a moment, I'm not done stretching it, but because I just want to show, because this has a weave that is very visible, You want to check it often from the front side to make sure you don't have any weird wiggles happening through it. So I'm just taking a look. It's pulling a little bit, going a little bit, I'm exaggerating on this, but this way. So I'm going to straighten it out a bit as I start stretching it horizontally. So I don't know if everyone knows this about me, but I was or still am, a paper crafting artist. I designed dies and stamps for many, many years, but my passion, my secret passion, has always been, I love stitching, embroidery or slow stitching, just stitching. I love the meditative work of doing that. So when I had an opportunity to do some embroidery work, slow stitching, and came up with the stitch your stamp idea, I've been going in and just enjoying doing this work so much. So what happened was I've been slowly reconfiguring my studio, because again, it was all designed for paper crafting. So I've been reconfiguring my studio to be more for the fiber arts, which is a little, I mean, it's just different. So like some of my washi tape has now given up part of a drawer so that I could have my embroidery floss. It's just one of those things where, you know, you do what you have to do. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I am just going to do a loose running stitch. Okay, so I know this is kind of after the fact, and I probably should, I'm doing this all backwards is basically what I'm trying to say. Normally you would put down your pegboard fabric, stitch it down, hold it in place, and then you could stitch it onto the secondary fabric, and from there you could stitch down the shelves to everything, and everything would stay fairly flat as you work. But my lesson here is do it that way. Don't do it the way I'm doing it. I'm kind of doing it, not kind of, I am doing it backwards. So now what I want to do, unfortunately, I have these wrinkles in here. And this is your lesson. Don't do it the way I did it, because you'll get these wrinkles. But I'm going to try doing a tiny blanket stitch around the edge of the pegboard so that it holds down and maybe is a little flatter. We'll see. But right now I want to do a tiny blanket stitch so that it doesn't detract from the plants again, but gives it an edge. I'm going to start in this little area right here and take it and go behind there, and then I have a free run all the way through. So okay, I hope that's a little bit better. So you can kind of see what I'm doing, coming down just slightly, and then so there's a finished piece. I finished the blanket stitch around the edge, and you saw me do the running stitch around that piece. I highly recommend, future reference, do the background, stitch that down, even if it's these two layers together, before you stitch all these other pieces onto it. It'll keep it flatter. And then after you stretch the background fabric, then attach the front fabric. I did it backwards. I admit that. So anyway, I love the way it turned out. It has some wrinkles. Yes, it's not perfection. I love doing the stitching on it. So now the only thing I have left to do is add finish off the backing with the piece of felt. So I found a piece of felt, and I'm going to cut it for the backing. I cut it, the frame itself is 8 inches wide. So what I'm going to cut the felt is 7.5 inches. So I now have my piece of felt and it's going to cover back here. So now I'm going to just do a little slip stitch around to hold it in place. Let me get my needle. So I pinned the white felt to the back of my piece so that the corners especially would get held together. And I'm using my just white thread doubled up because no use using embroidery floss. So what I'm going to do is start, I have a knot in there on the end of my thread, and I'm just going to come up and hide the knot behind there. And I'm going to catch a little bit of the felt and a little bit of the fabric. Okay, so I'm almost done stitching around the edge here. So it looks much better on this nice backing. So if you ever have a problem like that where you did something wrong with the backing fabric, there's ways to fix it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out my website, LyndaCreates.com. That's Lynda with a Y, for more tutorials. And I appreciate everyone for watching, and I will see you in my next video.